Okay, so it's probably 7:30 in the morning. It's a little bit of a muggy day here in Thailand. It's taking a little bit longer for the pollution to actually burn off. So I finally made the trip out to Wat Tramit, which is a Buddhist temple, which I will explain a little bit more after I go inside, so I make sure I get the story straight. What I thought it was sort of interesting to note, I grabbed a taxi cab to come over here. I didn't want to try and like bumble around with the SkyTrain and the subway. And I saw my first water in the streets. I passed through water that probably would have been something to the tune of 6 to 8 inches deep. I'm going to say it was probably on purpose because it looked like we passed through another road where they were actually opening up a little bit of a floodgate to let some water from like a higher water area into a lower water area, so it was going to hopefully go through like the sluice and the drainage, because it seemed like a really unusual spot for it. I'm in Chinatown right now, and I'm surrounded on either side by places that have no water, and the river would have been, I guess, behind it, but there hasn't really been a lot of flooding that I've noticed, at least when you actually go to the river. So that is that, and I will see you on the other side of this. So I'm inside the temple now, or I guess you could say I'm on the temple right now. There's a 4th-story monastery above me. It's the first place that I went. I'm familiar with the story. I've heard it before. So we are in Wat Tramit again, and there was a statue that was being moved, a Buddhist statue that was completely encased in plaster. As far as everybody knew, it was plaster, and there was an occasion when they were moving it with a winch, and due to some accident, it slipped and cracked. And I think they were essentially going to throw it away, like, and it was sitting on our riverbed. And one of the monks had a vision and went outside and saw glimmers of gold coming from inside the crack. And they cleared the plaster away, and it turns out this statue is completely solid gold. And the backstory is there was, some centuries previous, there was an attack from Burma coming to a monastery, and essentially the Buddhists, they didn't want them to chop up the statue. So they cover the solid gold statue completely in plaster, and everybody gets wiped out, and everybody forgets the story. So it spends a few hundred years like that, and then this accident doesn't happen until 1955. So that's when it gets moved to this place here. It's impolite to take a picture while I'm up there. You can Google this thing if you want. It is, I think they said it was 15.5 feet tall and weighed 5 tons, like a complete 5 tons of solid gold. So I might spend some time Googling the price of gold later to kind of figure out the actual worth of it. It says in these little brochures they give you that this is actually it has the Guinness record for the religious symbol that is we're at the single largest amount. And there's some other things to take a look at here as well. Like I think they have some exhibits, kind of discussing how they think that it got covered and how they think that it got uncovered. It's a very beautiful place. Like everything is white marble. They asked me to take off my shoes before I came up here. There's some actual Buddhists up there offering religious ceremonies of sorts. I don't know enough about it. I don't know. There's a lot of little shrines and little statues and icons around it, but it's pretty awe-inspiring. It's I don't know. I don't know. Alright, so one of the rules here is you're not supposed to wear your shoes in the temple. So I took my shoes off, and I left them in a spot where there was, I will defend myself by saying that there were other shoes there before I put my shoes there. So when I come back, the area is completely clean, there's no shoes at all. So there's a moment and it's kind of like, oh man, some Thai person stole my shoes. And then it kind of hits me like, alright, well I put my shoes probably somewhere I wasn't supposed to put my shoes, so they moved them, and I went and tracked them down. So the nice lady behind the counter was very, very politely telling me, please don't leave your shoes in that area. And I went back to inspect that area where those other people already left their shoes. So I was following the trend. I wasn't starting the trend. And it turns out my shoes were directly below a sign that said, please don't leave your shoes right here, which is exactly what I did. So I apologize for trampling on your traditions. I'm kind of a son of a bitch. The other thing I'm going to complain about, because that's why you all tune in to hear me complain, is when I came here, with the amount of clothes that I brought with me, I bought a pair of blue jeans with me that didn't fit entirely well, but I kind of thought to myself, all right, they're a little snug now, but I'm going to go to a hot country and I'll probably lose some weight, and, then they'll fit perfectly, which would be great. And so when you come to this temple, they're like, shorts is a no-no. They don't want to see your feet. They don't want to see your legs. And they don't want to see your shoulders. So no, like, white beaters. And so strangely enough, like, I don't know if there's some like funny reaction to like the sweat that I'm producing here, but like my pants seem to keep getting like tighter and tighter. So like if you can imagine, like when you see like a teenage girl with like the pants that are a little too tight and they got kind of the muffin top I have, the muffin top, well, maybe not that bad, but that's kind of what it feels like. So other than that, it's been pretty grand. There's actually a couple of Buddhist monks walking around right now who was kind of giving me like a funny look why I'm talking to myself so much. I'll take a better picture of them maybe. I'll ask. You gotta ask these things. You don't just take pictures of people. Why would you do that? You gotta ask. So there was one main building down. I'm kind of looking up at it right now. So there's one building up there where I found Golden Buddha, and there's one in front of me, and there's one behind me. So I'm gonna go take a look around there and see if I can take pictures of some of those things. Okay. Okay, so this is the last temples I walked into. You can see other people taking off their shoes, which I did observe this time. But otherwise, it's been kind of a fun observation. So they got over here. You know, on this side of this canopy, that's where Golden Buddha's hanging out. You got it kind of on the other side there. There's another one. There's this big plate in front of us. And right over here, you got the basketball court. Because as we all know, the Buddhist monks got some serious game. Smack dab in the middle of Chinatown, so this is actually a pretty rural area. Like, you can, not rural, urban area. Like you can see there's like apartments kind of hanging up there where people can get the front row seats of the temples and what have you. I didn't take any pictures inside here. There's not very much going on there at the moment. But they do have a photo in reverence of the gentleman that actually discovered Golden Buddha, so that was kind of fun to see. Alright, so I'm now outside the temple again. One last stop before I go. See if you can hear any of this. Outside of taking off my shoes and wearing the tight pants and all the other, I'm sure, very touristy things I did to horribly offend the monks. Turns out while I was putting on my shoes, I kind of forgot all my like stuff that they gave me here. So not only am I not observing like the ritual of the shoes, I'm also littering in the temple. So not doing so good with Buddha right now. But they're very nice about it. They're super, super polite. And it's an interesting day. Okay, but I gotta get the hell out of here because it's getting kind of hot. So I'm gonna try my very best to get like a photo of like the flood on the way here, and then I don't know. We'll see. And now I found the zoo, and I was like, yeah, hells yeah, I want to go to the zoo. I actually just took a picture of some kind of like a lizard a little bit earlier that I happened to find on the side of the road, so I'm expecting to see some pretty terrifying creatures while I'm in here. They got a big looking lake thing over here, a couple of signs over here advertising some KFC in case I'm interested in that. And per usual, there's stuff around the park that looks like animals, but is in fact not animals, so I'm looking forward to checking that out. So right now I'm visiting a temple, another temple called Wat Po. Wat being sort of the generic term for all these Buddhist temples. I took a few photos of it. I didn't actually take any video. I'll try and grab some on the way back. This is the sign of one of the largest Buddhas in the world. It's the, I guess you call it reclining Buddha. So the length is, you know, of an entire basketball court, just as high. In the intermediate time between this temple and the last temple, I was wandering around a big open-air market, and I was looking across the street, and I guess I had a confused look on my face because there was a gentleman named Frank that I met from Germany who now works for the police force here. And he's been here for 20 years, so he pulls over and chit-chats with me for a little bit and shows me a good place to buy soup. And you know, in his role with the police here, he had an opportunity to show me some of the photos that you're not really seeing on the news of all the people that have been flooded out. So there's, and I've seen some pretty dramatic photos, but like they had some, you know, sheer signs that there's a lot of people that, you know, literally everything they have is gone. It's he was saying that crime has gone up 4,000%, which doesn't really take that much imagination to know why. It's a lot of people leaving their homes, all of a sudden being prime victims for thieves, essentially, which is kind of a bummer. This planet compound is pretty big. This is near the Grand Palace, traditional palace, I guess. And in my guidebook it has a particular Buddha inside that called the Emerald Buddha, so I'm going to make my way over there after I'm done here. So I thought this was kind of amusing. It's not uncommon to see in Eastern religions they'll have door guardians outside of like a temple gate. See, there's two of these guys. And I didn't catch the entire story of this, but I guess that they based these guys
off of some interactions they had with some Europeans. So if you take a look at this guy, it's looking kind of dark, so I don't know how well you can see him or not. Get a better look at this guy over here. They have a decidedly Western look, which I thought was kind of funny. Alright, so this is Wat Arun, last temple of the day. Interestingly enough, I started this journey over there. You can kind of see that peak right in the middle, that if you have a very good camera, which I don't think I do, you can see that they're doing some construction on it. That's the place that I was at just a few minutes ago that had the Laying Buddha. And as you can see, there's just basically a quick skip over the river here. And I thought that there wasn't actually any boats running. That's what one of these guys over here told me. You can see, I could see 1, 2, 3 different boats at least. So I may have been misinformed. So I took a taxi and went all the way down to that bridge over there, went across, and came all the way back. So this temple is called the Temple of Dawn, and I guess you could call it Temple of Dawn or Dusk. And so what it's sort of known for is it's supposed to have a particularly good view first thing in the morning and last thing at night. As you can see like a panorama of the whole city from up here. This is I want a walkway that goes around this. So if you wanted to do a little bit of foot labor, you can get a full 360 panorama, should one be so inclined. I think I might try and stick it out here to get a little bit closer to dusk so I can kind of see what it looks like. A lot of onions in this market. I'm awed to be in the presence of so many onions. There's a lot of garlic and ginger here too. Oh, there's some garlic back there.